Ready? Welcome to SonarFeed, episode number
221.
titled
T-15. Almost got that work.
Son. Almost got that work. Woo!
Are we even live on the internet?
I think so. How's the internet work? It looks like it.
Let's go. Welcome, everybody. Welcome.
I don't
friends,
see it.
Amigos, amigas,
There it
señores
is.
y señoras. It's good to be
It's going to be
back.
there in a sec.
What
Here-
up?
Here it comes.
Dude, life is good.
We missed you.
There it
Dude, I
is.
missed all y'all, man. Cheers.
So welcome back,
Seeing friends.
everybody. Salud.
Salud.
ma'am.
Marcos.
Salud.
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 Salud crew.
Salud out here.
So-
Salud to you at home. Salud. Up, sounder.
So welcome to episode
What-
221,
221. That's right.
otherwise known as AKA T-15. Almost got that work.
Almost got that.
Shout out to Josie Altador. And we're here at... Oh, shit. You know what the worst is? We're going to end up in Toronto, and he is going to beat the shit out of you. And it's going to be totally worth it.
All I have to do is apparently touch him and it'll fall over.
Damn.
Mark, is your microphone on, Mark?
Yeah.
What about now? I mean, your audio's
I'm
up.
on.
How about now?
Do you want to turn off the sound on
I
your...
heard him on the feed.
Hi, Adam.
Do you want to sit there and like let the show play? Maybe turn that down a little bit. So we tried to produce the show before the show started, but chose not to.
It wouldn't be as fun.
All right,
Yeah,
now I
pretty
got you.
normal.
Now you hear
So
me?
shout out to the Berliner Pub.
I hear you fine, dude.
Hey, Katie. And the crew that we were really hoping to be here last week after taking a week off. A couple people were sick. There was some other stuff happening in Sounders Land that we'll talk a little bit about later. Ugo was illin. He was illin enough that he sold his Seahawks tickets for the day before
Dude, the greatest game of the year, probably.
and was just sending us photos of whatever medicine he was taking during the day.
Yeah.
And then Adam and I were like, yeah, I don't think we can hold down a show for 90 minutes. Because while that would have been funny and there would be so many GIFs, it wouldn't have been that good.
It would have been just the two of us staring at each other.
We chose to move on and let that one
a
go.
while.
Did you tweet something about the show?
I did.
Yeah.
Well, I'm out there right now.
So anyway,
Let's go.
thanks everybody for catching up with us. We promise we'll be back on a little bit more regular of a schedule. Dave is supposed to be here, but we were told
Dave's not here, man.
We were told at what time was it?
Coming in
7:25
hot.
p.m. Quote, when your dog doesn't want to poop. So Dave will be here soon. He's presumably not listening, but you never know.
Yeah.
So instead, we got Mark, who's wearing the safety yellow. Is that yellow? Would you call that yellow?
Sure.
Safety yellow work coat that he wears when he's in like the freezer, and I'm pretty sure the freezer or like the fridge is like the size of a warehouse that any of us have ever been into, but it's like where they keep the carrots,
Think of a Costco
but for produce.
and triple the size.
But like you go in and there's just
Yeah,
like
Mark's-
radishes for like a quarter mile.
Can I talk about the avocados? Are they under $4 yet?
The price is coming down.
Thank God.
Price
Thank
is coming
you.
down.
Mark's
The
microphone's
hookups.
not working, so I'll be right back.
Do you call them paltas or aguacates?
Aguacates.
What about Mark? He's like avocados. Yeah.
You say
So-
aguacate?
Aguacate?
Agua.
Perfect.
What about palta? Palta. There you go.
Palta?
Palta. It's in Chile.
In Chile?
That's what they say. So I think we talked about that one time that I was in Chile and I tried to order oysters, and where I was, the word ostion is scallop, and I had ordered 12 sea scallops, and the guy at the restaurant was like, "What?"
Sure?
You want 12 sea scallops because they're like this big? And no, I wanted oysters on the half shell. And he's like, no. We have a different word for that here in this town. And that was really not helpful. So,
What was my girlfriend's name in Mexico?
no one.
Tigre?
That was your
My
name.
girlfriend's name, not my name.
Oh, Sudela or Soyla?
Sulema.
Sulema.
Ooh.
Sulema, yeah.
It's me and more.
I mean, I was going to go with like mano izquierdo, but but Sulema will do. That'll do. So anyway, we got started awkwardly.
Gracias, Tomas.
Thanks, Adam, for solving a technical problem. It's some interesting times since
No
we were last
question.
here. So
Anything happen?
I don't know where to start. So since we last met, do I remember anything from Mexico? I mean, I do. Mark remembers everything except which Muppets character we purchased a cake of. For the record, it was Cookie Monster.
It was Cookie Monster.
Brendan slipped on the roof deck and fell on it. And
Not Grover.
left it. It was
Cookie
not Grover.
Monster.
It was Cookie Monster.
Dude, I just
Different blue,
remember-
dude.
I just remember Puerto Vallarta looking up like 3 floors up, and this guy is over here just, woo!
Dude,
woo!
I literally, Beth was not feeling well, and I went downstairs to check on her and came upstairs, and all of a sudden there were 8 naked people in the jacuzzi. And I was like, hi, everyone. I'm going to go back downstairs now. Anyway, so we'll come back to Mexico stories later.
Can't wait for CCL.
So there's a lot of stuff to talk about. I think we like to do, the week that was, but I think we have the weeks that were. Maybe we just talk about what happened most recently, go a little bit backwards, and then go a little bit forward.
Sounds good.
From there.
Me gusta.
So let's start with Sounders, because that's what we actually give a shit about.
Yeah.
And so Thursday
Maybe for
night,
you.
So Thursday night, and let's leave the off the field or the pregame kind of stuff off for now. I think that's a better story for later. So Thursday night.
It was wet.
And then it wasn't, and then it was
Then it was.
again.
And then there was thunder.
And there was thunder.
That thunder was awesome.
It was.
Dude.
So I totally missed it. And then I watched a video later, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
So that was interesting.
I didn't see lightning. I just heard the crack.
Did you see the thunder, though? Because that's not a thing that you can do. But I just wanted to double check.
The thunder roll.
You're a dick.
You can do thunder. So anyway.
Garth Brooks was in Tacoma this weekend.
I saw a lot of
Speaking of
snaps about
thunder
that.
rolling,
Wearing a Canadian tuxedo,
Was he?
from what I heard.
bringing out the white supremacists.
Which show?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
Ooh,
anyway.
boo, that man.
So Thursday night, I mean, you could summarize this game a couple of different ways. One, Freddie Montero continues to not score goals.
In the playoffs, when it matters. At least he's consistent at it.
2, Clint fucking Dempsey.
By the way,
Booyah!
but Freddie is in a very familiar position of watching the rest of the
Home.
playoffs from home.
Yeah, home. I mean, it's cool.
Yeah.
We actually wanted to have him on tonight.
But it was actually funny because when we discussed guests over the weekend, that was like the
That was
first.
what-
That was the first name that came up.
Freddie.
People were
Freddie.
like, oh, Freddie's available. And
No,
then we were
man,
like,
but-
nah, we're
Oops.
cool.
Seriously, dude.
Move on. So
Clint Dempsey.
Clint
fools
Dempsey.
down. Shutting fools up.
and like the first goal
Me, one of them,
was
by the way.
something. The second goal, I'm like, you
Oh,
are up in
dude.
the air.
Like
Going
a ninja.
for it.
Ninja kick!
Like
Ninja
a
kick!
ninja, dude. Just
Like, what are you even doing?
Woo!
So we had a lot of things went on. You had Clint Dempsey, you had Stephen Fry, you had Roman Torres.
You had Vancouver not getting into the final third
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah, that was.
you had arguments for days over penalties or non-penalties. You had, forget that even for a second, Nuhu. Where did that guy come
Yeah.
from?
Right?
dude.
I mean, we all saw him coming up as a big player,
Shut
but
up,
like,
S2.
dude's starting and is probably pushing people out of a position.
I am
right
a lot
now.
more comfortable with not having Jovan Jones. I mean, I'd rather
Right?
not, but
You're
no,
like,
we have
oh,
Nuhu.
Leardom
This'll be
and
okay.
Nuhu?
This'll be all right.
We're
he's
all
coming in
super
now.
okay with
Yeah,
that.
like he's been off and on this season. Now it's like There he is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
There he is.
Yeah.
That's what he is.
Yeah, man. He's turned it up a notch.
Yep.
He's telling folks I belong, not just a few minutes here and there. I belong in the biggest games of the year, on the biggest stage, at home, defending our cup. Let's go.
Right.
Let's go.
Whose cup?
Our cup.
Yep.
Whose cup?
Our cup.
Whose cup?
Our cup.
That's right. That's right. A little louder.
How about
Thank
a
you.
little bit of enthusiasm
Yeah,
from the people
let's
wearing
go.
scarves
Our
and
cup.
flannels
Let's go.
and
Our
hats?
cup, guys.
There's a
Just-
Santa
Hey,
hat back
guys,
there.
Can I
Guys, it's
sit?
our cup.
Oh, it's our cup.
guys.
Oh, thanks.
Our cup.
cup.
Our.
So anyway, so it's our cup.
So
Thursday.
Was I the only one that was not that? Well, never mind. I was a little stressed out the night before. Never mind. I was. But during the day, I wasn't as worried. It's weird. It's like this calm came over me as we got closer to kickoff.
I didn't feel as nervous as I did last year.
Yeah, at night I did, but
Right.
I was really nervous until the point where I was getting cleaned up for the game and I had a vodka cranberry in the shower
You clean up well, by the way.
before doing an interview with Q13.
Who
You,
doesn't
you,
have vodka
you clean up
cranberries?
well
and then
and you're
from
all
then on,
black.
I was good for the rest of the day. It was amazing.
It's a really strong vodka cranberry.
It was in a Starbucks cup,
Tito's, Tito's.
a venti.
Big gulp.
Was it mainly cranberry for color?
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe. Anyway, so I would agree. I think I went in feeling pretty good
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
that game, and as I think most people did. Sounders have been playing really, really well at home. So,
Well, and anytime-
frankly, irrelevant or like irrespective of opponent, I think you could go into that game expecting, forget 1-0, 2-3-0,
Well, and when
without
you,
even thinking about it.
when you roll out a lineup like Vancouver did, and an idea of what their formation was going to be,
Yeah.
of just meh.
Yep, come
Hey,
here,
it's Dave.
Come here,
Hi, Dave.
Dave just showed up.
Let's go. Let's go. Come
You want
here,
to pile in
buddy.
somewhere here?
Come here. So fresh
You
and
do,
so clean.
Dave. We heard on the internet today that Dave,
Dave
accidentally
is in
shaved
the
his beard
house.
off. Lickett wants to know if we can shine a spotlight on Mark because he's hard to identify on the video. So I don't know if you're watching, but he's literally glowing. You look like a Super Saiyan
Reflection.
right now. All you'd need is like Goku hair, and it would be fantastic.
Sit, sir.
So, so anyway, Dave, we were just talking about Thursday and kind of just highlighting a couple of players and some things that went on. But given that you tend to be one of the better analysts of this bunch, do you have any opinions on things that happened on Thursday? You could probably just pile in. Do you want to me to move over? You could just.
We'll just share a mic. Share a mic.
Whatever
Cozy
you
up.
need me to do, I'll do. I'm the one that's late, right?
All right. Well, tell us about your dog going to the bathroom. No. Tell us about Thursday.
Have a seat. Sit. We can't see you.
Woo!
Just squeeze in there. There we go.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Dave.
Who did I spell wrong?
So, what have you said
Fixed
about
it.
Thursday? Because I've just walked in. I mean,
Not much.
everything I think about Thursday really is just disappointment in Carl Robinson. He had a game where
We didn't
had
even
the
get
score
there.
to advance, and that
Yeah.
talk about wasting Freddie Montero's talent.
We touched on Freddie and his irrelevance, and that he was back in a familiar place, which is home for the rest of the playoffs.
Remember that there weren't a lot of games, like 1 to 3 games when Freddie Montero was here, where they used him as a target forward when Siggy was in charge, and we were all like, "Siggy, why are you doing that?" And now, an idiot in Vancouver has decided that's the right way to use Freddie Montero all the time. And this is the same idiot that when he benches Freddie Montero starts Brek Shea in his place. So, yeah, to me, Carl Robinson didn't want to win. He didn't want to advance. It's an odd demeanor because I'm used to Brian Schmetzer, who he goes into every game wanting to win, wanting to advance. You know, his attitude is we can succeed, and I didn't see that from the Vancouver Whitecaps. I saw a passive, tentative team that didn't believe in themselves, and the Seattle Sounders were at home and dominant and Clint Dempsey reminded us that he still has plenty of time left.
We did talk about Clint Dempsey just briefly.
And Nuhu and Joven still play together well. Like, it took them half a season to figure it out, but that works once in a while. And we got a continual reminder that as great as Osvaldo Alonso has been, the Sounders can win games without Ozzy.
Yeah.
And most of that credit needs to go to Christian Roldan.
Completely agree. Would you say that it just seemed to me like as each half went in that the Whitecaps just and their coach too, they just didn't show up. They just didn't show up.
Hot toddy.
And we were like turning it up a notch as the minutes went on, and we got better each half of each game. It seemed like we just got better, and that second half here at home was just some of the best I've seen them play, especially without Ozzy, without Jordan. Just everybody stepped up,
And they did it going north. They defended the wall.
Yeah.
They did.
See, that's
So,
funny.
on that note, quick sidebar. Can you remember the last time the Sounders went that direction multiple times in a row? Because I can't. To the point where, like, when once a season it happens, someone usually walks up to me pre-match and is like, did the Sounders lose the toss? Like, what just happened?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
weird.
it takes a combination. Remember the start of the game?
Yeah.
Where they had to everybody switch sides.
Switch sides. Yeah.
Clearly,
It was pretty random.
Vancouver won the toss.
Yeah.
And then did some gamesmanship.
Yep.
And what'd they get for it?
Womped
Vacation.
on. Yeah. That did not go well for them.
just yeah.
So, Max Aquino is here? Man.
Max Aquino is here before 10.
Sounder art photographer Max
The
Aquino.
surprise isn't that Max is here. It's just that he's here while the show's going on.
Lickett would like to shout out that Mark was great in that Beastie Boys video. That's wonderful. Anyway, Lickett will be here all night, so we'll recap his
God,
I
does
haven't
he
even
have
put
to?
the sleeping
YouTube
bag
post
on yet.
earlier. Why you got to give up the props, dude? Let it go. Let it go. Save a surprise. So we talked about Deuce. We named
Excuse me.
Named a couple of
Speaking
players.
of Deuce,
named a couple of players that made some moves on Thursday. Any other opinions? I know, Adam, you briefly chimed in.
I forgot what I said.
Ugo said a sort of a thing earlier, but like anything else stands out to you about Thursday that we want to make sure we touch on? Dave already talked. That's your turn. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. So
And Adam.
yes, definitely that Dempsey has shut me up. I was criticizing him a lot of the season, both on Spanish radio and here, once or twice possibly. So he shut me up, man. He showed up when he needed to carry the team in the biggest game of the year, and showed why he's Clint.
I feel like he
Fucking
quietly
Dempsey.
had just a stellar season.
Yeah, dude. Well, I don't know about stellar season, but he shut me up today
No?
in the playoffs.
He had like 12 goals.
That's it.
That's it?
14? 14.
Yeah, but like how many games did he
Hold on,
play?
14?
Like 14 and 5. Somebody look it up that wants me to be accurate. I can do that. I don't have a microphone.
Mike, yeah, Dave's,
man,
Dave's off mic tonight.
He shut me
talking.
up, man. So props to Deuce. I think we have a legitimate chance to take this home again. And Dempsey, man, playing like that second
Right.
half, or not? He played the whole game, man. He just
How
knew
many-
where to be.
How many
12 goals, 5 assists.
12 goals. How many times did he almost have a hat trick?
Yes.
Oh, they totally
Right?
They did not bury it at the end. They were not like, "Hey, let's go to the corner and waste time."
Right.
They were like,
Yes.
let's waste time by trying to score."
Yeah.
Yes.
There were I think there was that one that was early on that he, like, everybody in GA thought he had, and the entire GA was like, yeah, oh shit, he missed it. And then after his second goal, there's at least two more where everybody thought
His first opportunity after when he was sitting on the hat trick, he decided to pass to the offside Will Bruin rather than shoot near
Right.
post. He did like that. I don't even know. Maybe it was supposed to be a shot far post, but it went so wide it looked like it was a pass to Bruin.
Right.
And that's when I was like, what happened to Greedy Clint? Because Greedy Clint would have gone near post and made what's his name? Not Ustad, whoever it is.
That other
they
guy.
decided to switch
Yeah.
to. Who's
Just
not
not
that good.
That's fine.
I wanted Clint to go near post and embarrass that dude. 'Cause
So-
the hat
Right.
trick was there for,
You,
for
you
him.
know what's really exciting for the conference final?
Clint motherfucking Dempsey.
That and Jordan Morris this, Jordan Morris that.
Let's talk to that about that.
Let's
in a
hold
minute.
off on Jordan Morris
So-
this, Jordan Morris that for a little bit, mainly because like we don't even know if he's practicing yet. We'll
So
figure that out tomorrow.
I'm just peeking at Deuce stats for a second. So second most goals as his sounder. He had 15
This season?
in 2014.
his second most season
In a season
His
for him.
season, yeah.
Yeah. But he also had 10 assists that year. But if you remember, 2014 was kind of a decent year for the Sounders.
What happened?
They were okay. They won a supporter
A
shield
shield.
thing.
You know,
That's
the shield.
that's
Do
a
you
good thing,
remember
right?
What
Obafemi
about
Martins?
the record for most goals in the playoffs? Who's that? Who's that?
So, but like 12 goals. He played 29 matches this season versus 26. 25 starts.
Wait,
but
so
like-
wait, he had 4 goals on non-starts. Is that what you're saying?
He had 4 appearances that were non-starts.
Oh, okay.
So it's his most starts too as a Sounder.
Yeah.
So like you think about, he's been here a while, but like I don't know, his goal. They were not trash goals this season.
let's
it was
review
like
that. You said that
really
was the
good,
most-
angry Clint Dempsey.
The most starts as
Most
a sound.
starts, most games played as a Sounder.
Huh.
So since
and in the
mid-
off season, we didn't even know if he was going to be here because he
Right.
had heart trouble for 6 months.
Right.
I will say I was literally here last year, right
And-
around
and-
now, saying I'm pretty sure that guy's done forever.
So he went from heart trouble, out for 6 months, not playing in the playoffs, to most appearances and most starts as a Sounder,
Yep. Most minutes as a Sounder.
most minutes as a Sounder.
Wow.
Second most goals.
Most shots as a Sounder.
Became the. Thank you. Became the Sounders' leading scorer in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And as of today, it looks like he's going to sign a contract extension based off of what 442 and ESPN
Yep.
were both reporting independently.
And, you know, two goals. He had 2 in 15,
Get at it, man.
1 in 14, and 1 in 05 for the Revs. Like, all right. I mean, no one's going to complain about that. I mean, we talked about him sticking around this year or not. At this point, I would say most Sounders fans don't really care what they pay Clint Dempsey if he's going to stick around next year. Right now,
Pay him.
just pay him.
Pay him.
Okay. Pay the man. So you're saying like Ray Liotta?
Are we
Fuck
talking
you,
like
pay
No,
me?
I'm saying like Eddie Johnson.
No,
Oh,
Amy.
that.
Like
Okay.
Michael Bennett when they were interviewing about Cam Chancellor, and he just remember that Cam
Pay him.
Chancellor on the sideline, and Michael Bennett walks up and goes, "Pay him,
Yep.
pay the man."
It's accurate. So to that point, though, we were all talking about this for quite some time, and whether you love Deuce or don't, I don't know if you can really
Love you.
argue with it right now.
again.
Angry Deuce is a thing,
Oh, dude.
and no World Cup,
don't like pickles.
no World Cup next season. Deuce,
Mike's wife.
He's got nothing else to play for.
I don't know.
Remember
Dude.
the Oba World Cup?
Yeah, we might
We
have
about to
that.
have the Dempsey World Cup.
I mean, so you get like what? 2 red cards, 15 goals, and 9 assists in the Dempsey World Cup. Is that what happens? Like, and the 2 reds are really, really good. They're like totally worth it to the point where you're like, yeah, you play this team next week. I don't really care.
What is Dempsey going to do to miss a game next year? We've had a nut tap.
He is
We've had
going to
elbow to the head.
He
I
is
forgot
going
about the
to,
nut tap.
He is going to untie Porter's tie. He's going to walk over and just untie them.
There's going to be like a stoppage in play, and he's going to tie an opposing player's shoes together.
Dead leg.
Don't put that past him.
To be fair, Nagby does that to himself.
Wow. We've actually moved on from Mark jokes in the chat, so that's good.
No.
So-
Like it's gone.
Oh wow, you know, yeah.
So Harrison points out most XG.
Expected goals.
Yeah. Well, I knew that, but I was abbreviating.
Not everybody knows what.
But what was
expected
his
is
Audi
on
performance
first
player
usage?
index?
That's pretty impressive.
Q5. That was an Audi joke, Mark.
Yeah, I know. I was just trying to figure out how much dead time we could go with. There. So
90
Adam
minutes?
Adam brings up
Great
Harry
points.
Ship assist and how great.
Oh man, we turned
Victor
it up a
Rodriguez
notch.
is.
As soon as he
Oh.
came in, the gear just went up somehow. I didn't think we could find another gear, but with Victor, it just
Right.
went up.
So that dude,
yes,
maybe from the moment he scored that goal a few weeks back, and you were like, "Oh, it's going to be like that." Because I think we have talked about this on the show. He does not have a great shot,
No.
Rodriguez.
No.
And that was a pretty good ball. And then the second one was a pretty good ball. He adds a lot, which I think we all knew. But there's just something to these like sub 5, let's be generous,
I think-
5'7" guys
Yeah,
that the
dude.
Sounders keep bringing in. Wow.
you gotta give.
Yeah,
it
I
to-
know he's not 5'7". I'm giving him like I'm probably looking
Yeah,
at the
he's like
roster and it
5'4".
says 5'6" or something. He's not.
No, he's not.
But-
dude,
Yeah.
it's just the players buy in, man. And Schmetzer gets these guys, tells them, man, it's on you guys. It's what you guys want to do. It's this club is what you guys are, making it be. And it's, man, all these guys just turn up. Ship turned up. He played a few minutes at S2 or a lot this year.
He did.
Actually.
He played at least 2, maybe
Yeah.
3 games.
Dave, do you have a comment?
Ship played the first half for S2, and then they pulled him as a final prep to get ready for the end of season with the Sounders.
And then boom.
I was going to say that there are like 8 Sounders that are listed as 5'8" or less, and like none of them are actually 5'8". Whether
And by
it's
5'8", you mean 5'5".
Nico Ladero, Roldan, Victor Rodriguez, Osvaldo Alonso. Most soccer players don't lie about their height unless they're under 5'8", in which case they all wind up being 5'7".
Talk right into that. That microphone's having some issues.
5'7".
Talk right into that.
Okay, I'll give it back to Mark then.
Yeah?
Yeah,
I
you
gave that-
literally
yeah.
have to be right on top of it.
Right on it?
Just right on it.
So other than that, we'd yet another moment from Stefan Fry of being amazing.
Oh, what'd he do?
He did a thing.
Did he do a thing?
How many minutes thing?
What does he need? 6?
Yeah.
I think 7.
7 minutes.
Do you think he'll get that?
I mean, I hope so. It's not like I want goals to be let up, but if you let up a goal, let's
Maybe keep it outside of the first 10 minutes.
maybe like get to 11 or 12 minutes, and then it's okay.
He's going to give up a goal like 2 seconds before that.
Yeah. Right. Everybody's like 2.
I'm just gonna turn off I'm gonna turn off Dave's camera. Sorry, guys, it's worth it.
Wow.
Dave, go check your dog. Has it pooped yet?
Has it
So-
pooped?
Has Aslan
Has
pooped yet?
Aslan pooped?
So we've got. We could talk about like myriad things at this point. Let's talk about the other games that happened this weekend. So that was Thursday night. We all got to go to sleep happy.
Very happy because
Uh,
I have a week down at the Oregon-Washington coast here with all my work, all our offices from Oregon for like 3 days. 3 days. So I was like, after
Pretending
we won,
that their team was good.
yeah, I was like,
Did they
man.
jingle their keys at you?
Oh, dude, I'm gonna be jingling a lot of stuff.
Whoa!
That was
You should
what
play.
kind of weekend
you
is
should play
this?
their jingling, baby.
PG-13.
All right, everyone. What?
Where do we go from there?
We go to Sunday. So we all went to bed Thursday night going, well, I guess we wait till the weekend. And I'm going to tell you, I woke up Sunday and was like, oh, look, soccer's on at 12 and 2:30 and 4:30.
4:30.
And I proceeded to park it on the couch. I think I emptied the dishwasher and did a couple of other things in between.
You'll never
random
guess where I went.
things. You went to Flatstick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys will never guess
So-
where I went. to wait for 40 minutes for tamales at 9 in the morning.
I was working all day, and I was just watching on my phone while I was working.
So Sunday, some stuff happened. Why don't you just go to it, because it's more fun to just start there.
Ooh, I like it.
So we're going to go to this fun little video.
Wi-Fi
Maybe
here.
you guys have seen it. Sasha Kleshten, Josie Altador. Hits the ground really hard. So
That was the fastest fall I've ever seen. Oh, shit, I fell.
like he's not like the biggest guy ever, and Sasha's not short or any sort of
Here it
slouch.
comes again.
But like he touches Josie, and Josie hits the ground. And I just remember like kind of paying attention to the game and being like, seriously, you're gonna call that, right? Maybe, I guess. And I didn't really think that Red Bulls and TFC could get to the point of having bad blood, but they do now, which is fascinating. Yeah. And, well, Josie was unhappy about getting killed at RBA.
That was fantastic.
So that happens.
Can somebody
and
please change this GIF to when he falls over to just a bunch of like Scrabble pieces?
Can you make it the one where like the husky puppy falls down the steps and then bursts into flames at the end? Yes. Just have it be.
He just explodes.
Scrabble pieces is a good one though. That's a good.
I'm going to go back to this gift because I'm in charge.
We're gonna go back to this one at the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh well, Dave's here now.
Dave's
so
here
he
now.
can see it. Dave, did you see this GIF?
Down on my computer.
Yeah, Dave saw it.
Yeah.
Did you see the end of it?
Did you see the end of this gift, Dave?
Dave may not have seen the end of
he's
this.
looking at this one.
It's like when you realize, oh, it's 8 minutes of time.
It's still so good.
Like, it was so good before, and then we added that. Good job,
Oh
Adam.
my God, Adam, that was clutch.
So,
Clutch, sir.
John gave Josie a 9.7, which is pretty fantastic. The Russian judges, we heard through Donald Trump's family, gave him a
Chat room
10.
is lit, fam.
They
Get
gave
in
him a
there.
10. There's
Get
no
in the
bias.
chat room.
But, unfortunately, the outlier scores get pulled out, so it may not have worked out. But anyway, so that's turned into a thing. So the fun part is there's a little bit of fun TFC Red Bulls for next year and beyond that I'm sure will stick around.
What did you think of their Tifa?
I mean,
What was it? I didn't see it.
you mean the stop putting trophies you haven't won on TIFO?
Yeah, that
Yeah, that.
they really
They put
should.
an MLS Cup on the trophy?
Yep.
Did they understand they aren't competing for MLS Cup yet?
Yep. No, they don't. They
Like-
don't understand that.
I can understand it, like within the actual MLS Cup match, be like, "Hey, come get this! It's now time," kind of thing. But referencing it when you are still 2 games away, and you look kind of like hot trash against Red Bull.
We if we and Toronto make it to the final, we totally should have a tifo.
An empty
that
window
is-
pane?
That is the empty window pane
I think we already did that.
again in Toronto.
So things that aren't stronger than a club whose time has come. Toronto's TIFO game. But seriously, it's like
Did they pay the rent?
It's like the Philly players touching the Open Cup in Philly on video.
Before they
What are you
lost it.
doing? You didn't play yet. And again, like you can never say never on anything, so knock on wood, but you're really putting that up. And then Portland, which we'll talk about in a little bit, went and did that. Good job with your manifest destiny, Tifo.
Map maker.
That worked out.
Map maker.
Again, it's cartographer, but we'll get to that a little bit. So Toronto, really the only thing for me to talk about here is, and I didn't think it mattered who they played against, but if they don't get Josie back out of this, no Josie,
Their best case scenario, like they're going to try to appeal a second yellow for
No
throwing a punch
Javinko?
in the locker room.
at Columbus, it doesn't matter who you are, you don't want to do that.
You mean the Major League 4, the retelling of
Yeah.
the classic comedy that's going on over there?
It's crazy. And all they have to do, forget the like save the crew thing that's going on. I would not have picked the crew to beat NYCFC the way they did.
No.
And they did. And you're going to tell me that right now, given as like puffy as they are, that they couldn't take out down 2 really good player TFC at home? Score a couple goals and that series could be over.
Okay, one, there's a reason I said I would have voted Justin Miram third if I had 3 votes for MVP.
Yeah.
Dude is that good. And when they committed to it being his team, they made a couple changes. Ethan Finley out, started Miram all the time. They got to be a better team. And they're kind of pedestrian in defense, which is, basically kind of like Vancouver or even Houston. They're pedestrian, middle-of-the-road defensively.
Yeah.
But their attack with a healthy Higuain, with Miram,
You don't
with
want any
Ola
part of that.
Kamara. I mean, Ola Kamara had like 19 goals last year. That dude can still crank out.
I don't
score.
see why you'd want to play that down a player. And again,
Oh, they're
it's-
losing Josie. For me, the question about Josie Altidore, the report is what the referee, the AR, recommended throwing him out for was a punch thrown in the hall. You know what you're not going to be able to do?
get back from that?
Yeah.
No way.
Oh, it didn't happen. We have security cam. What's the best case? He slapped rather than punched? Great. You're still missing that
getting
game.
tossed. Yeah.
You know what the worst case is? They look at the security
they give
footage
you
and
another.
say, guess what? You got 3 games.
Yeah.
Because you throw a punch at a dude's face, you can get 3 games in this league.
I don't see how they come out of that positively. So, unfortunately for Anthony Precourt and co, or fortunately, depending on
Fortunately
who
for
you
us.
talk to,
No, I mean, like, for the league.
I have no interest in going to Columbus, but I don't know. Right now, I honestly would just love to be able to go there and stomp them should the Sounders go through to the next round. But, like, I don't know. If you're Toronto right now going into that stadium, I don't think you want any part of that.
I mainly want it to be in Columbus because fuck Anthony Precourt.
For real. I did. There was a really good tweet somebody posted yesterday or the day before, and they were like, I'm really excited for another game.
FTP.
Another game
Google
with
that.
14,000 or 20,000 people, depending on which source you ask. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't know. That's bad news. The league can say all they want right now. They have got to be freaking out about Columbus going to MLS Cup. The amount of like coverage around that,
I
they
think
can't be happy about it.
I think there are significant elements in the league that still believe that Columbus can work. If they didn't believe that,
Well, we'd be having a
he'd
different
leave in
discussion, probably.
2018 rather
Yeah.
than threatening for 2019.
Right. But
At the same point, the commissioner's public statements are going to be all about supporting the owner. So,
well, in a 7-day period, they went from Columbus has consistently been around the bottom of the league to Columbus is always performing really well. Like, it took 7 days, and he completely countered himself.
and he turned down, I think it was a $2 million sponsorship offer that he turned down. Wendy's is backing out of next year.
Right.
Wendy's of Ohio was one of their major sponsors, and they're backing out because there is no benefit. Like, you're a marketing guy. You know
Right.
those kinds of spends. You don't spend money if
Why'd you do it?
If
But
that
now-
team says they don't believe in the community.
But now you look at the TV deal they did.
Oh, that was with
2
intent.
years ago?
Yeah.
At the time, I was like, well, maybe they're trying something different or whatever. Like, you could look at a lot of markets and see that. Now, that was intentional.
Yeah.
When, like, people who... It would be like here if you couldn't get Q13 and the Sounders not... Like,
No,
that's intentional.
it would have been putting them on Comcast Sports Northwest.
Yeah.
That's the equivalent. Like, wait, that station. Like, the first thought is that station exists.
on B.
And then the next thought is, where
is that?
Only one provider has it.
Yeah.
Reminds me of the Sonics back in 08.
Which, yeah,
Again,
I wrote
it's
about
intent.
you should read Sounder at Heart.
Is that a website?
Te la recomiendo.
So, again, we could have a lot of fun with this TFC Red Bull situation. aside from obviously wishing Red Bulls had gone through because it would be fun to
They just needed one
potentially
more.
have a match at home. So TFC's going in hobbled at a minimum into Columbus.
Right.
And Vasquez he missed both legs of this series, right?
No.
Or he
played
appeared,
yesterday.
he subbed on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he played yesterday.
Yeah.
So that happened. We could talk briefly, I think, about the Columbus NYCFC stuff. Really not surprised. NYCFC knows how to play on its own pitch. I don't even want to know.
Lickett wants to know when Mark has to report to the North Pole for sleigh duty.
8:30 a.m. tomorrow.
Oh, late start. I like it.
So Eastern.
So normal start.
North Pole time.
So anyway, nothing really shocking, I think, came out of the NYCFC game. You know, got a sub in Pirlo in, what was that, the 88th? Let's get those minutes.
Those minutes.
All right.
Yeah. And then Bon Voyage. I can't even
Bon
talk.
voyage.
But yeah, his retirement, huh?
It was very French of you.
I tried, even though he's Italian. I couldn't think of the same thing in Italian. Arrivederci.
I forgot he was even in the league.
Arrivederci.
Okay.
I forgot he was even in the league.
Wow.
Damn,
Now
son.
I can wear my no Pirlo, no party
No
shirt,
Pirlo, no
ironically,
party.
And it means
There'll literally never be another party.
of all time.
There is no more.
I might wear it to work tomorrow and just confuse people.
Somebody contact
They'd be like,
Andrew WK.
You better work that fire. Yeah.
Cold out there.
I like that hoodie.
Fire pit's happening right now.
It's cold out there. We should all put
Um,
our sweatshirts on.
Sure.
I don't know who Evil Zen Scientist is, but they say that isn't a good look on the video.
This isn't a good look on the
What?
video.
Can't decide which thing they're talking about. But anyway,
Us on
we'll move
video?
on. Just
yeah,
us
we're
probably
a
in
bad
general.
look on
Yeah.
video.
So anyway,
speaking for yourself.
Okay, so we talked about the Eastern Conference.
we talked about that.
We talked about
The
Sounders.
Let's talk about
Was there another game?
Houston and Portland. So I'm just going to say that
What?
no people I know expected Portland to lose without being like, "Oh, fuck Portland, I hope they lose." Haha. Everyone was like, "They're going to win." Except
Hugo. They didn't.
except Hugo.
Yeah, I went on the radio, Spanish El Rey, with my boy Nico at the beginning of the year, saying, "Watch out for Houston." Their coach really well against S2. Really did really well against S2. But I really liked the guy, man, when he was coaching at Rio Grande, the affiliate for them. And when he got called up, I was like, I think this guy's going to do pretty good.
Yeah.
And on Saturday, I was like, I think Houston's going to shock the world, y'all.
Shock the
Shock
world.
the world.
Shock
yeah,
the world.
but that was their second road win of the season.
Yeah.
Like I thought Houston might like scrape out a 1-1 and advance because road
Right.
goals are
Goals
dumb.
are goals. Yeah, at that point. Like
But to watch them 2-1 and to watch them dominate all but like 15 minutes of that. And I know there's a feeling that Portland had some injuries. Houston had some injuries as well. Portland had more injuries, but I don't really feel bad for that.
Houston
because-
started a different keeper.
Well, their other keeper probably shouldn't have beat.
Probably shouldn't have been playing.
It was a little awkward because I'm getting really close to your lips there, but we also didn't have Ozzy or Jordan Morris, and we took care of business. No excuses.
Well, a lot of times when the Seattle Sounders were critiqued for bombing out of the playoffs, it was because of injuries, and Portland would be like, "Whoa, you gotta win them," and
That actually sounds like pretty much Portland Twitter last night. Sounds like that. Everyone was injured. This happened. This ball bounced the wrong direction. It's windy. I couldn't see. There were too many voodoo donuts in the stadium.
I lost my
I
map.
had gas.
we jingled our keys for so long that now I can't start my car because they all scratched together too much. Like, there were so many excuses. And I don't, like, you can't hate on a team where player after player after player is beat down. But, like, everyone has to deal with that in this league. So it's just not an excuse at this point.
I mean, it's not like they had a player that wasn't able to play for 6 months because he had heart issues and you were worried if he'd die if he took the field.
Literally die. Like,
oh, okay. You just had normal soccer injuries. Cool.
Okay.
It's not my fault that you have Diego Chara. Sorry,
Does
you're
anybody
injured.
know how to make tea?
Do you want a tea?
I'm just going to go on the record
hot
here
tea.
and highly
How to get
recommend
a hot
the fried
tea?
Like, can
pickles
you
at
make?
Berliner
Does anybody
Pub.
know how to make hot tea? Because
Great.
Yeah.
I hear some of the Portland players have
Call
some
Glenn.
trouble with that.
You know, they spill it on their feet.
Is that
They
one of
do.
the steps?
It's not at
Okay,
all.
because
If you own a pizza place
yes,
where
dump-
you make hot food for people
Right.
and you spill boiling water on your feet, that is on you.
literally on your feet.
Literally on you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Honey.
That is no one else's fault except yourself. Also, if you're a dirty fucking player and you spill boiling water on the top of your foot,
Also,
no one cares.
Also, if your coach tells the broadcasting team the day prior, we're hoping to get 10 minutes, then he corrects it the next day to say we're hoping to get 20, but you put him in with 35 minutes left in the game, you're an asshole. You're like, you're either planning on making a double substitution for the same position, or you're playing the guy 2 to 4 times more than your own training staff thinks that he's capable of. You're an asshole. Like, oh, it's just his foot. Yeah. And then we get this nice story about how dude broke his foot when he was a youth player trying out, so he refused to use that foot for like a year. And then I'm thinking, oh, it's the same foot that he burnt. Good, you're forcing him to deal with his mental scars. That's exactly what you should be doing right now in the playoffs. Play him 35 or play him 15 to 25 more minutes than he's capable of, forcing him to use a foot that's, scarred him mentally. That's great coaching. Man, I would follow you to the ends of nowhere.
when you
Just
say
walk yourself off
great
the earth.
Coaching, you mean literally walk off the earth, right?
Yeah, I would not follow him. I just want him to walk to the end of the earth. Just keep walking. Like, that is
So
a
if he
shitty way
was
to treat
friends
people.
with Kyrie Irving, but seriously, it was pretty
That's
shitty.
a bad way to treat people.
Yeah.
Muy shitty.
But I don't think he cares. I mean, honestly,
No, he doesn't, dude.
Portland
At all.
hate aside for a second, I don't think he
I
cares.
don't know, I can do that. But no, you're right. I don't think he does. I don't think he cares, man.
I think that's just
I think he got
standard fare.
desperate, and he got desperate, and yeah, totally.
Oh, by the way, you got to check out this tweet from Houston. It's really good. Houston
Who is this
Dynamo
slug
earlier
next to
today
me?
tweeted the photo of their player in front of the TA, where, by the way, there's someone blatantly double flipping them off.
Multiple
And it says,
double.
When the tree falls, does it make a sound?
When the tree falls, does it make a sound?
Yes.
That was a good attempt, but
That's about as hard as MLS teams go.
yes, but when the tree falls,
It's
leaving
really
words out, but we
awkward.
actually have the number of characters to use. Doesn't make a sound.
Right. But they
Like,
missed the whole and
when
no
a
one's
tree falls in-
around.
like,
They. It's a
They don't need
stretch.
280 to use the actual.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you know I'm not cold?
Tweet.
Hey, somebody asked
This is
in
good.
the
You
chat.
Oh, there's Mark in a
Subtracted
sleeping
me from
Somebody
Bag.
asked in the
Caleb
chat
Boyd.
what the sleeping bag is for, and there's your answer. Look at Mark. He's kind of chilly.
This is actually how Mark dresses normally. I was at Mark's house yesterday, and this is about how he was dressed in his living room. He was literally just in this, he was burrowed into this thing.
You were waiting literally until Lickett said,
Should've
"I'm
said
out,"
burrito.
to put that on.
Yep.
And
So you
TJ
waited
is
until he
burritoed
left.
right now.
Okay.
You missed the best content.
I'm going to DM him and let him know.
Look
that
at his-
Mark-
Let him know.
Oh my God, John wants to know if you're going to turn into a butterfly.
Eventually.
Sean asks, how much ecstasy did you take? I'm just going to, hold on, let me respond. Wait, Y-E-S. Got it. Yes.
The band?
So other than shitty comments about Caleb Porter and double birds by the TA and presumptive TIFO map making.
Are we
It's
really going
rude
to be
to flip
critical of them
people
giving
off.
the finger? Because let's be honest, if we want to kick everybody out with the
Oh
finger.
no,
Okay,
I would
okay.
give the double bird.
No, we
in
wouldn't.
any
We're good.
photo.
No, we're nice.
I've
people.
actually flipped off the ECS photographer and then just apologized.
Who's
after.
sitting
Sorry,
right over
Max.
here, pretty much.
Well, one of them. I have definitely been in a double bird photo that Max has taken at least once.
Right, but he should be able to post those on Sender at Heart.
He
at least.
probably did at some point. So, anyway,
What else is going on?
I mean, so we've got, what do we have? 15
15
days
days.
until a soccer game.
Can we talk about the other TIFO? The other
Almost
TIFO?
got that work.
Wait, which other TIFO
What's TIFO?
the two-pole
things I find online?
bombardment.
Oh, did something happen?
The ECS TIFO.
Oh,
That-
yes.
Was that choreo or tifo?
Damn it.
Dave,
Sorry,
Dave,
no.
if I didn't have my arms.
That was technically a choreo.
Otherwise,
It was
incapable of
synchronized.
use, I would smack
It
you.
was intentional.
I gotta applaud all of ECS for that. Seriously, yo. Seriously.
I'll applaud ECS.
Yeah,
that was
I
amazing.
let's
got all ECS.
talk-
There
all the
was a
leadership.
lot
Except Mark.
of work.
Let's
even-
let's discuss the
Mark
whole
No, but
Also,
seriously,
scenario.
last Monday, Mark decided he wasn't going to try and do the show, which we weren't sure if we were going to do, so he could go paint
Be there.
and do TIFO. So,
And you
good on
also left the game in solidarity when
Yep.
Heather and Tom got kicked out.
Mark. Which is basically all we would have ended up talking about last week.
Basically.
Yeah. No, but seriously, that was a huge response. It was a big deal. Tons of people love to not talk about politics and sports and da. But I'm proud of the way that ECS responded. I was proud to be in the stands with y'all. So especially with everything that you guys have seen me do in Buren, like more than, and not just in Buren, it's all over the country, all over the Puget Sound.
Well, and the biggest thing about that whole thing is it wasn't any sort of statement that we were trying to make in Vancouver.
No statement, actually.
Literally none.
There was no intent.
It's literally a banner that's
A
been
member brought a
at
banner.
the stadium almost all season.
Well, let's just be clear. 4 things were taken by security, which, by the way, and he hasn't responded, but our friend Jeff Baker, among other members, sent us a very nice request asking to talk the other day.
good friend.
What?
Good friend of the show.
I didn't catch it. Heather caught it. And he's like, oh, I'm getting conflicting information from the league.
Shocking.
We heard
He got
that-
the league to say something because that would be breaking
we heard
news.
that there were 4 things
Seriously?
taken by security, and we were like, yep, we said that from the beginning. But of course we had to go investigate a story that wasn't actually a story. So the whole point here was 4 things got taken, 3 of which were people's individual banners. One was one of the scarves that GFC sells in CenturyLink Field.
The black-
and,
which were
11
featured
other
at the Red Bull.
11 other
Red Bull
stadiums
Arena
sell them
because-
or something. Yeah. Then next night was interesting, to say the least. But there was no statement. All that really happened was they were confiscating things at the gate. We stepped in for members. It escalated from there. It de-escalated from there. Then it re-escalated from there. And then we said, fuck you. That's my summary. We didn't actually say that, but that's
Said it
essentially
in
what
French.
happened. And then it escalated significantly from there. And yeah, and here we are. So we could talk about this. I don't need to recap. You guys all know what happened. Good
So I
times.
lost track of what you were just saying. Could you start
all
over?
I'm saying is that
Yeah,
was
that's really all
huge.
that matters.
So yeah, exactly.
There was no political statement. There was no statement at all. It was literally just, let's solve something.
Boom.
Hi, Mark. I'm impressed.
I am impressed.
I'm not at all surprised that in your wazoo color sleeping bag,
It's a coincidence.
you can get a beer. Anyway.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah. We could talk about that all day. I talked to Dave on the phone about it, so now we're done.
Yeah, we wasted the material last week. When
We
didn't
talked
have
about
a
it on the bus ride ad nauseum.
Summary of it. I'd love to hear your words. You wax poetically when it comes to stuff like this.
I have a few thoughts on it. One, even though I didn't participate, I would disagree. I would say that it was political, but that's okay because politics and sports interact all the time. It was a political decision, say anti-fascism. Fascism is a political theory, and you're against it. That's a political statement, but that's okay because the team disagrees with me and says that it's not. But at the same point, it's still okay because the team that says that they don't want political statements but they believe in inclusivity has specific political statements they make frequently. They make political statements in favor of acceptance of the LGBT community. They make political statements in favor of the veteran community. They make political statements in favor of the Latino community and the Hispanic community. They make political statements against Soto Arena. They make political statements all the time. Sports and politics interact. We see it. If sports and politics didn't interact, Osvaldo Alonso would not be a Sounder because he wouldn't have fled Cuba. Sports and politics interacting is why we have him as a Seattle Sounder player, because politics exists. We don't get to escape it in sports. We don't get to. It's a political choice not to fund health and human services and aid agencies, and that's why J.J. Watt was able to raise something like $43 million. That was a political choice, and he is an athlete, and that's sports and politics interacting. We see it whether it's Michael Bennett, we see it whether it's Colin Kaepernick, we see it with Jackie Robinson. Sports and politics interact. We see it at the Olympics regularly. It's part of why we love the Olympics and the World Cup, is because that's the way that we get sports and politics to interact. There's no separation between sports and politics. There never has been and there never will be. And those that insist on having it are practicing a fallacy. And they're trying to escape into a dream world. And there, I had some thoughts.
I mean, we could just end the show.
Best decision of the show was to put this mic in this man's mouth. Cheers to Dave. Cheers. Cheers to Dave.
Seriously. Salud.
Salud. Salud. Salud, compadre. Damn, I wish I would have had that recorded.
I saw Michael Bennett last week.
Did you guys
Yeah.
hang out for like a day? Because I
No,
would've.
he shops where one of my customers,
Nice.
one of my buyers is, and I was.
Is it the one that I love?
Selling beer, and we will discuss that without a microphone. So I was selling beer at a place, and I went and bought like a beverage or something for the road, and I look over and I'm like, "Hey,
Hi.
it's Moses." No,
That's
Moses, because that's his nickname. Yeah.
I'm a
And I looked up and I just walked up to him. I go, "Hello, sir. I'm a veteran.
But really, like, hi.
Thank you." Oh, what? And he goes, "Wow, thank you, Matt." No, that's all. I just wanted to say thank you. I appreciate what you're doing. And I turned and walked away, and I'm like, that man is huge. And he's like, even without the pads on, man is big. And then there was some part of me that was like, maybe in some way I can kind of understand why the law enforcement officers felt like they needed excessive force on him, because like that man is huge. Like he's 6'4" and 2 whatever, and it's all muscle. Like it's all massive. And it, like my hand, his hand wrapped around my hand, and if I had another hand, it would have wrapped around that. And if I had a third hand, it still would have wrapped. Like
You only have one hand? You said if I had one hand and you wrapped around it, if I had another hand, and if I had a third hand. So you were saying if I had a second
Can you shake
hand.
with 2 hands, Adam?
No, but
Can I ask you?
I usually do the
I was-
secondhand thing. I'm a fan of it.
Cheers.
Are we
Yeah.
talking about
Cheers.
hands, touching hands?
Can we hold on?
Touching
You-
hands.
Since you've seen him up
Reaching
close,
out.
and
Reaching
you've seen
out.
Torres up close. How close is Torres to his
Fuck
size?
all of you people. Stop it.
There's some intentional body fat weight on any lineman.
Yeah, because they're
we
smart.
remember he did the belly shuffle. Remember, he used to do that as his sack dance until 3 Pumps got him fined. Literally.
That was so funny.
And Torres doesn't have that at all because Torres has to run.
body fat.
Torres might be in like Michael Jordan 2% body fat land. Like when Michael made his first comeback, that was when he came back to the Bulls and was still good. The second comeback was when he played for the Wizards, and that was embarrassing. But when Jordan did the first comeback, I remember the reports were that he had 2% body fat, so he was ready to start the season.
That's like me.
You know it's not healthy.
Oh no, 2% milk. It's different.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, Torres might be in like
I don't know how much you probably were paying attention to this as I was. There was a point in the mid-90s where it was like Magic Bulls and like the Hack-a-Shack thing and all that. That dude was 303 pounds or something and like 2 to 3% body fat. You were
And
like,
a
what?
size 27 shoe.
And he was just running people over.
You know who still can't make a free throw?
Me.
Shaq. Also Adam.
Because of 2% milk.
If you just broke down and had whole milk once a week, Adam,
Does a
you
body
could
good.
hit a free throw.
Does a body good.
On that note, let's talk about
What are we talking about?
and me.
What?
yes.
What now? Let's talk about sex,
So-
baby.
We talked briefly about
And me.
Vancouver. We talked briefly about home after Vancouver. We could talk about moving forward, where we will have a show next week.
Yeah.
Some portion of all of us will be here.
I will be here.
I'll keep the sleeping bag in the car.
Just leave it in the bar. Just stay here, actually. Just sleep over.
Do it.
It's closer.
Sleep
It's closer
over.
than your apartment.
Actually, that's true.
It would save
Anyway.
you a lot of time. You should move to Renton, bro.
Graham and I are not moving to Renton.
So anyway, we could either keep recapping some random things that have happened over the last few weeks, or we could just talk about moving forward.
Just a quick service announcement. Please get your votes in. Please get your votes
Vote.
in. Please get your
No,
votes
really.
in.
Vote.
Like seriously.
Fucking vote.
Oh yeah, let's
have-
go. Throw that at me. Throw it at
You
me.
have until tomorrow to vote.
Oh, perfect.
Most ballot boxes
Oh, no,
close
I'm
at
here.
8 p.m.
Oh, wait.
But it's
Yeah,
preferable to get it in earlier.
Get your vote
If you
in.
haven't already sent it, you
And if-
do need to take it in.
If you
to
drop
a
it a ballot box,
box,
you don't need a stamp.
Correct.
Get it
Wait,
in.
let me say it again. If you haven't sent it, you don't need to take it to a ballot box, but it will not be counted until a few days.
Search
after.
online to find
Yes.
out the closest drop spot.
It's there.
It's
there-
also
Please
an
do not go to
insert.
my closest drop spot because that's the King County Election Center here
Right.
in Renton, and the line out on Grady Way is really horrendous.
Yes.
Most
If
of them
you
are at a
live-
local library,
But
or
there is an
school.
If you
insert
live
that's
near
near
Pioneer
you.
Square, it's right outside Uwajimaya.
There is an insert in your pamphlet that tells you all the drop-off boxes.
If you're in Tacoma, come to the Channel 253 election party at the Swiss.
could go to that.
There's still a few tickets
I heard there were
available.
tickets. I saw Nate
Please.
Bowling say
Yep.
there were
Please.
tickets available.
It's
Tell
actually
all your friends and parents to vote.
Yep.
It's really important.
Vote.
Who should we vote for?
The Fantastic Four.
People.
Jimmy Mata, Pedro Holguin, Nancy Tosta, and Crystal Marks. Do
people
it.
that are going to represent your values and beliefs.
Yes. In Tacoma, that's Victoria
and Brad
Woodward's.
Evans for sheriff.
And Brad Evans
Because
for
let's be honest, both candidates suck.
Burion's
so-
an interesting example. If you want to understand why it's important to vote, Hugo
It's
and I have
actually
talked
the
about
example.
these numbers quite
Right.
a bit. Their city council is basically the balance of power is going to be down to one vote. It's a 9-person council.
Yep.
It's going to be 5-4, or it's a 7-person council. It's going to be 4-3, one way or the other, based off of this result. They have like 3,400 eligible voters in General election, they have about 1,700 that vote. This is an off-year election, so if people like Hugo didn't get out the vote, you might have only 1,000 people voting.
Yeah.
So maybe 1,200. But
so actually, on that though, I've seen some early numbers coming in as far as how many people have already voted.
well, that's because
And
Hugo's
it's
walking the streets.
Not as many.
Really? I thought it was more.
No,
It's low.
Is
This
it?
morning
It was
they said it was
16% as of
Oh.
Saturday.
oh wait,
16% of registered voters
16?
had sent in their
Yeah.
ballots. 16.
Yeah, I heard
only
14.
16% of registered voters. So you're really talking at about it is 3,400.
What is it normally in an off year?
So it's about 500 people have voted so far. I mean, but when you're talking those numbers, when
There's
you know,
a
it's
close
interesting
button
when you
you
think
can use,
about
Danny.
millions of people in a state election. When you get down to the local stuff, one of those seats will be decided by a dozen people.
Yeah, last 4 years ago, or 2 years ago, one race was decided by less than 5 votes. Less than 5 votes.
All right.
Danny, you're
That's our
welcome.
get out the vote, and we've seen that
You're
actually
welcome
at the
to close
governor
your browser,
level, even in
Danny.
Washington State. I think one of the
Thanks for
governor
joining
contests
us.
went to 42 votes and like a triple recount.
Let's not do that. Yeah.
Wasn't that the Dino Rossi Gregoire? 42 votes was the final recount. and
My
it-
mom
Yeah.
was mayor in a town in New Jersey, and it came down to, I think they did multiple recounts, and it was a double-digit number.
Was it a township?
Township. Yeah. Borough, actually.
Oh,
Excuse me.
tiny.
Yeah. Pretty small.
So
Um,
vote and stuff.
But a double-digit
Don't look up
number.
my voting history,
So,
though.
You know what's funny about that? So lately, get out to vote just because I think it's interesting. Younger folks under 28, when I knocked on doors and asked them for their vote, you know, we'd have a list of their voting records, so you'd have their names, and I'd say, "Hey, is so and so home?" And we're here I'm here, you know, trying to get folks to vote for this election, and I wanted to see if I could get your vote. And they were freaked out that I knew their name. They were like, "How do you know my name? How do you know my name?"
Because
Like,
you
super freaked
registered.
out, right? And when I tell them that, they're like, "Can you do that?" I was like, "It's public
Let
record.
it
It's
go.
your voted
Yeah.
record." Like, yeah.
sorry.
It was so interesting to see all like, and I, you know,
Yes.
if 10 years ago, I probably would have done some similarly. So
derail us for a second here. Ugo actually has something that many friends of the show may not recognize.
Is it a cassette tape?
It is like a
I
tape
love
recorder.
yeah,
So
that's a
it's an
rad
iPhone
app.
tape recorder
yeah, it's a voice
to
recording
get
app.
people who understand tape recorders
Yeah.
to record stuff and be shady. But it's like you're in 1974.
Pretty much.
Dude,
That's very
I
cool.
love. I was using one of
I
those.
thought we were in
things
1984.
I'm impressed. That's a different
Yes.
discussion. So
Apparently, we're not supposed to talk about politics, though.
Anyway,
Danny.
stay in your lane. I actually am okay with moving on from politics.
Let's do it.
All right.
So
And a public service announcement.
Thank you for joining us.
So it's Monday. 2
All
weeks
day.
from tomorrow, we have a game.
Right.
So it's kind of like the Super Bowl in that we're going to speculate over every stupid ass thing that could possibly happen between now and that point. Like,
Will Mark remember his ticket? Oh, he's not going. He's not going.
Will Houston get turf replacement?
Jeez.
will Clint Dempsey play in a charity game?
They'll
On that same field.
probably let the
Yeah.
goats go out and eat the grass first.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
How
Just
many
keep it
smug
low.
comments will Brian Ching make on Twitter?
How
my God,
many
he's still
how many
around.
Houston fans are going to dress up as orange seats?
A lot of them,
Will
by the way.
S2 and Tacoma offer maybe the Seattle a job?
Could you buy an S2
I passed
jersey
that along. Oh, hey.
when S2 moves to Cheney? Let's talk about that.
Could
I'm
you
wearing my
could you
shirt
go
today.
to could you go to
I put on my.
Shout out to Sugar Toes with that
Tacoma.
question on Twitter.
could you go to Tacoma Stars game on November 17th?
Danny, you forgot to close your browser.
We have a ton of stuff we can talk about with Houston coming up.
For real.
There's some stuff that is recent.
Isn't this the series where no one has won away?
Yeah, the two teams have
Ever.
never had a win in the other team's stadium.
Yeah. Total. So that's interesting. Though not shocking. if we're being serious.
No, it's
Hey, Eileen.
Seattle is
Are you
0-4-4
going
in
inside or
Houston.
outside? Oh, okay. Well, no, I
So-
need another beer.
So no one's won in the
Hi,
opposing
Emily
stadium.
Fawcett. How are you?
You have a team that right now is flying pretty high. Not for
Us.
nothing. Well, definitely. But Houston is probably flying pretty high coming out of that match.
Oh yeah.
Genuinely, I would say most people, except Ugo, counted them out. And, I mean, they had 8 minutes of stoppage time, which is more minutes of stoppage time that, like, anyone ever should have ever.
It was like 7:47.
Wow. Thanks for 7:47 is what we're officially told.
Do you like the sleeping bag?
What is even happening over there? There's some like coat happening things. So anyway, so Dave mentioned there's things to talk about. I think there's going to be a whole lot of conversation about Dylan Remick, and there are some...
No, I was saying non-Houston things.
Oh, non-Houston things. Oh, okay.
I mean, we have 2 more shows before the Houston game.
Correct. I mean, what are we going to talk about next week?
Probably the Houston game.
What about the week after that?
Definitely the Houston game.
So, what do you want to talk
Something
about
else
for the
happened
next-
last week. There was the story that I broke a few weeks ago turned out to be true.
Yes.
S2 is moving to Tacoma to play in Cheney Stadium for
Yay!
at least 1
Oh.
year, almost certainly 2 years. As you can hear in the background, there are a lot of people from South King County here that kind of liked S2, nice and close. Because like me, they lived in Renton. They're ahead of the curve.
I didn't live in Renton, but I liked that it was nice and close. I don't live in Renton, but I like that S2 was here, nice and close to Bjorn.
So it's moving to Tacoma. From a business sense, it's going to be great. I think even the people who live close by know that the team's business and marketing efforts about S2 disappeared basically after the first month of its existence here. They didn't really reach out to local restaurants, soccer teams, bars.
Families at
Wow.
Megan says season ticket holders. Yeah, they kind of turned their backs on the community, and so it moved. It moved for business reasons. I think it'll actually help the kids develop in that by being away from the people that were going to Starfire. We're going to go to Starfire no matter what. You put them in a city with its own identity because, I mean, I'm a Renton fan, but we're definitely a suburb. Tacoma looks inward before it looks to Seattle for direction, whereas Renton more typically looks to Seattle and then looks inward. And I think there'll be a little bit more pressure to win, particularly with the price of tickets, which has gone up dramatically. But I think it'll be good for the South Sound, and it'll be good for the overall Sounders brand to extend down into that Tacoma, Olympia, Gig Harbor area, where, for the most part, the Sounders are really just a Seattle team. They're nothing like the Seahawks, the Mariners.
No, so after
They
the
don't reach
after the
outside
after the
of it.
Cup win last year,
Yes.
after the Cup
Yeah,
win
it's hot
last
toddy
year, people were tweeting photos of shirts and shirts and stuff they would find at random like Costco and Target and whatever. And so we would go living in Tacoma, we'd go into Costco and say, "Hey, we saw these shirts that from somebody tweeted from a Costco up in Seattle. Do you guys have them?" Like, no, we don't have any. Why would we have Sounders stuff? I mean, it was like we were looked at like idiots.
My only
In
MLS
Tacoma.
Cup T-shirt that I have, though, was a deeply discounted one I found in Yakima like 3 months
Nice.
after the win, because one place out near there, grocery store, decided to get it, and so it was like $10 because they're like, nobody is buying this stuff. So, but you know, part of the reason Safeco Field has a roof is because 51% of their fan base comes from outside of King County.
Right.
Not even outside of Seattle. And I think the number for the Sounders is something like 80-some% come from within the city limits. And so when you talk about like growth opportunities and marketing and business and the ability to grow the brand, they have not reached anywhere close to saturation. And part of the way to do that is to give the people of Tacoma and its satellite communities a reason to pay attention. And now they'll have a local version. I'm personally, I know Adam and I have talked about this a little bit.
Yeah.
I personally hope they go by Narrows SC because it's kind of a diminutive name of the Sounders, and the Narrows are part of the Sound. They're like, the stadium is going to be like a half mile from the Narrows. If you're getting on and off the Narrows Bridge, you're going to pass by that stadium.
Yeah.
It would be a fun little thing. Tacoma Narrows. They'll have to have Tacoma in the name.
Yeah.
I know for a while it's going to be Seattle Sounders to Tacoma, which is clunky.
Well, so what they told us, what they said on Wednesday was it's going to be S2. They're going to maintain that through at least this year, if not into next year. The reason being just the marketing going into pushing out a new name and getting new gear, new kits, new merchandise that fast. They would rather focus their energy on all of the other things that need to happen.
I hope by focusing their energy, that means that, I mean, the kind of erector set style stadium that I've heard they're researching is something that could be done in a single year. They don't have to wait.
Tacoma's permitting is fantastically
So
fast.
there's a reason that we haven't opened the show at the Berliner in Tacoma yet.
Not fast.
And it's related to
but
this
what I'm
discussion.
saying is once they burst through that, the stadium
Right.
itself can be built quickly. And there's already the infrastructure in the area to support it.
Oh,
because
very much
it's
so.
essentially the same parking lots that Cheney Stadium uses.
Yeah, and there's a lot of parking there. Tacoma is overrun with lots of parking. But one of the things that, again, they talked about with Mayor and everybody else is, it's going to say S2 over the course of...
They're not laughing at you. They're laughing at me.
Okay. Over the course of the season, they're going to take names and votes and whatnot from community. I don't know that it's going to be necessarily as publicly driven as the one that was like Footy McFootface or anything like that, but they are going to take input from the community. There's a decent contingency of us from the South Sound that vote for the Tacoma Kraken because... Well,
Mike Standish says so.
Yeah, he kind of gave us the inspiration, which is the name, and we
meaning
took
in your life.
Yeah, he's and the inspiration, but because I mean, one of the things back to the Narrows, like you were saying, Dave, the largest octopus live in the Sound, specifically under the Narrows. So that's one of the reasons why we think the Kraken. Also, it's a minor league team, and
cute names do better in the minor leagues.
Exactly, you can have so much more fun with marketing and with that kind of thing, which ultimately brings people to the stadium.
S2, if you're listening.
Oh, the tall boys.
Lisa, off camera, is suggesting that the supporters group there be called the Tall Boy, or the team to be called the Tall Boys.
No, I think it's the supporter group.
The supporter group is going to be called the Tall Boys. The team has officially called the supporter group the Tall Boys, so they don't pay attention. It doesn't matter. They were bringing us hot
You're
toddy.
good.
We're
You're
fucking
good.
happy. All right, I'm really confused. The team has an official supporter group already? And they're called the Tall Boys?
No.
I just watched what happened when that camera got hit.
Yeah.
And it was like maybe like a 3.2.
Let's move on.
Are we talking about...
Yes.
Can we sell them on the Leviathan? I've got
Are we
great
talking
branding
about
around
LA
that, and I'd love to
3.2
make
or
that money.
East Coast 3.2.
LA 3.2.
So not East Coast. We will rebuild.
Like
your lawn chair
the
fell
white lawn chair fell over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hatched, by the way.
part. Anyway,
We're laughing at
we're
gifts.
just watching
Sorry.
gifs
What
that
are you
are
guys talking about?
interesting.
Hey, Larry. Larry, how you doing, Larry?
Guys, Jesse just showed up and decided to let us know that S2 moved to Tacoma.
No.
In
Jesse's
the chat
been
room.
there?
If you're in the chat room,
No, that says Sat.
S at
Sat
symbol.
Sat moved to Tacoma.
S at symbol moved to
Sips
Tacoma.
beer.
You are fired. Shout out to Jesse, who, by the way, earlier did want to throw out there, which was the least S2 related thing ever. I can't even find it because there have been so many comments about what Mark is wearing.
What's Mark wearing? Oh, he took off
Jesse
his...
wants to know.
I hatched.
Oh, yes,
Jesse wants
Tacoma
to know
Stars.
about. Is it Friday the 17th? Tacoma Stars. If we can get a group going, $11 a ticket. So if you know Jesse, either on the chat, thank you, on the chat or on the Twitters, track him down. We'll have another week or so to plan this. Wow, you're hitting that hard. You know, you could use the stick.
I already had. Oh,
You don't have to bite through the stick in the corn dog. I know that you.
I just thought of a great
Anyway.
food item. Imagine a corn dog, but the stick is pepperoni.
Oh, damn.
So your meat on a stick of meat.
what's wrong with
Your
testicles?
meat on a
Emily?
stick of meat.
what to say now.
That's right up there with the. I have a quest to make fried applesauce.
Wait, are you going full Minnesota State Fair? On us
Totally
right now?
don't. There are a couple state fair items I want. One of them I just discovered thanks to a man who doesn't use the stick part of the corn dog next to me.
Like he literally just picked that up and ate it like it was a
a
giant deli
Did
pickle.
you miss that? Like a corn dog that's on a pepperoni stick rather than a.
That sounds really good.
Yeah.
I would totally eat that.
And I do
Stomach
want to.
hurts.
I do want to do fried applesauce.
I don't
Basically,
even
you
like
freeze the applesauce
butter,
ahead of time.
like just on random things.
'cause you're insane.
And I would eat fried butter.
Yeah, so
Fried
imagine
Twinkies
fried
or get the
applesauce.
fuck
So
out.
you take it, you freeze it, batter it,
Dude,
Flash
fried
it so it's-
applesauce sounds wonderful.
so it's like that. It's crunchy
I'm
and
with
gooey
Sean.
at the same time.
I'm with Sean.
That's just a fritter?
Yeah.
Kinda.
No, there's no dough.
It's still like
the batter.
no, but
Barely.
it's still applesauce in there.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is great because we only derailed like what?
Can we talk about politics again?
What are we? 7 standard deviations away from what we were supposed to be talking about.
There was a guy.
Do you know Kevin Bacon too?
There was a guy in the
Like
chat
we
that
went from
really
like,
wants
you
to
should vote, you should not vote,
talk
you should
about
vote,
politics.
and then we were like,
Danny.
you should vote for Putin. Like,
Danny-
we ended up there.
Danny was really interested
we
in us
just-
talking about politics.
We just did
He
a
liked
show
it.
where I had a political rant
I hatched.
and talked about.
Oh wait, hold on.
Fried
Danny
applesauce.
just jumped in. We can't stay on point.
Bite of my corn
We
dog.
are a third grade group of
What is
boys
that
with
word?
ADHD. Football.
No,
He's
that doesn't
not
say
wrong.
football.
Squirrel.
Not wrong.
Danny, thanks for joining us for the
For the
first time
first time ever
here on the show.
For the first
We really
time
appreciate
in
you.
forever.
And the worst part is, I'm not even making a joke. I'm being totally serious right now.
This show is a little bit weird. It's literally just a bunch of guys that drink in front of a camera and microphones, Danny.
It gets better as the night goes.
And every once in a while, right, like former, or I'm sorry, the people who hold the MLS goal scoring record of all time.
Wait, guys, we have
still
to be,
show up
we
on the
have
show
to be
every so
serious.
often.
Danny wants us to be serious.
Should I put my
Danny-
sleeping bag back on?
He's gonna not watch us
No,
again
no,
if we continue.
I would
not
strongly
having.
recommend, by the way, not calling out the guy like he's the asshole here. Because let's be honest, we're the assholes.
It's totally us.
I'm okay with that.
Anyway, so we've got,
Danny,
like,
there are great shows that we have had Roy Lassiter on. We've had Lamar Nagel on. We've had Eddie Johnson, Steve Zakwani twice, Hercules Gomez, Lamar Nagel, Jessica
Hugo's
Fishlock,
just gonna take the
Christian
mic away.
Roldan,
Mark's sleeping bag.
Mark's sleeping.
David Olson.
I was a guest once.
And we have some great rants and monologues from time to
Ezra
time.
Hendrickson.
Sean is so high that he
Swatsky.
can't even type right now.
This is
He didn't say that. I added the high part.
a couple times a month we get a
Fadatum.
little whack.
Is that me? Is he talking about me there? Fadatum.
Put
I mean, probably. Fadatum.
Fadatum. Old.
Fadatum all.
Highly recommend the
So-
fried pickles here.
All right,
Fadatum.
so let's be realistic for
Larry.
5 minutes ish.
Thanks, Larry.
These guys suck.
And I use that ish really, really
I love you, Larry.
generously.
By ish, what do you mean?
I don't know. Thanks, Lair. So
Larry is a white guy. Real estate investor. Okay.
you do not need to quote Sir Mix-a-Lot lyrics to me. So let's talk about. Oh, what? I'm sorry. We have to make this a classic episode. Let's talk about football, guys.
I didn't book a guest. I booked Mark this week.
So-
yeah, the Seahawks lost.
Football, baby.
The
Talk
Seahawks
about
lost.
You and
So
me.
let's actually talk about soccer for 5 minutes.
We have to go.
Can we talk about the suggested reformatting of the playoffs that everybody seems to be in accordance with? I saw a post about Seattle, the group stage.
Oh, you
idea.
mean Grant Wall's article?
Wait. Grant Wall's theft of Brian Strauss's idea?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait,
When
what?
Brian Strauss was on...
You say I'm talking
Before,
single like
Sporting News.
elimination stuff?
Hey, you think we could ever have Grant Wall on?
Group stage. Not single elimination.
Oh.
So the conferences meet in a group stage format.
Isn't that what you have the season for?
No, you just get 4 teams. And the higher seed hosts every game. The next lower seed hosts every game except for the one against the high
So
seed.
when are we gonna have a break?
There's
You get like a
literally
week
one
off in
more game
February.
added.
Okay.
It's
What
only
are
one
breaks?
additional game.
Yeah.
So we could play MLS Cup in Toronto in mid-December rather
No,
than
you
early
could
December.
not have a
the
2-week
day after
break
Christmas.
like we are right now.
Boxing Day.
15 days off.
Fuck the international break.
No, the international break is a 5-day break. We have an 18-day break.
This is where Dave breaks it down.
Can you figure
And
that
then
out?
we're going to play on a Tuesday
Let me get my
before
abacus.
Thanksgiving and then take a whole nother week off.
We took an extra weekend off that has nothing to do with the international break and has everything to do with we're
That's
afraid
actually
of the NFL.
wonderful.
But why?
Emily, the season is a really long mixed group stage.
That's
But
true.
it is though.
Guys, I want to be
would
in
love this
pot
thing.
B.
I smoked that once.
And by once you mean earlier today.
Yeah.
As you were coming here.
Mixed group stage was my emo band 10 years ago.
The 90s were great.
The idea is that it only adds one game unless it's the game between the 3 and 4 seed, in which case that might wind up a game that's not necessary. You'd play during this week that is meaningless. You'd play midweek games because part of being a great team is both having depth and high-quality players. I mean, that's part of why the regular season exists. But
the Sounders are still in the playoffs.
So what's San Jose's excuse?
I don't think they were ever really good, were they?
I don't know.
well, they won a supporter shield, Adam. They had a really good year once.
Oh, was that bar tray?
When?
Is that like from was that Johnny Dangerously?
It is Johnny once.
One.
My
One beer.
my-
I've
like,
had one
like
beer.
my mom hung me up on the back of the bathroom door once.
You should sing that
Once.
You should sing that more in a.
We need to have
We need to have this. It's
Johnny
at the
Dangerously and
mid-season-
Top Secret.
at the mid-season.
Oh, I was
for the
talking movies.
champion. So at the mid-season, the MLS Shield leader plays against the best team from the previous season in the championship, and then that team that wins the match gets promoted to the EPL. We're just gonna make it happen.
Do they?
Let's just make it the most complicated.
Do they have
and, like,
security cameras in EPL tunnels? Asking for Josie.
I just
here it
want
comes
to.
again.
Everyone should have to play
Here it comes
Sunderland.
again. Oh, look at me. Put my chest out. Oh, I fell down.
Just keep playing the Dave thing for the rest of it. No, just kidding.
Oh.
No, anyway, Dave, that's great hair for you, by the way. Seriously, you have like when Eddie Vedder cut his hair short. Like, do you remember that time? It's just like Ugo's hairstyle.
I used a hydrating shampoo today.
Was it moist,
No conditioner.
like
No
Mark's
product.
shampoo?
I use conditioner to shave. I use conditioner to shave. Pro tip, hack tip, or life hack.
Wait,
Using shave condition.
you use shaving cream?
What just happened?
Nobody can say the words.
Shaving cream?
Should I just end the show now? Guys, it's 9 o'clock. Good night.
Did we just lose Dave? This is amazing. All right, so
My life hack is literally something most people do.
Dave's like, so I put shampoo in my hair, but first I stepped out of the water, and then I went like this, and then I dawdled, and I have a waterproof phone, so I checked out Sounder at Heart tweets.
This is the most people we've had for a non-guest episode ever, and half of them will never come back.
Yeah, and they were like, Danny is like, fuck this show.
Why do you keep calling him out like that, man?
Because he's right. We are way the fuck off.
And it's awesome.
By the way, I totally forgot.
Boop, boop. Stop.
What the hell is that about?
All right, so talking about the Houston game, ECS, you guys have travel tickets arranged already? If you
I'm
follow
going.
Travel
Eileen,
Monkey?
tickets for travel.
How many are left? 130.
For away.
130 is what I hear, right?
How much are they?
Tickets are. How much?
30?
$30 for ECS members. 35 for
30?
non-members.
Okay, so follow at ECS Travel Monkey if you're on Twitter. If you're not, you can pull that up by going to twitter.com/ECS Travel Monkey. You'll find a link there. Whether or not you're a member, you can get tickets to Houston away in the away supporters section. $35 non-members, $30 for members. It can be kind of pricey to get there because it's the week of Thanksgiving. But and also they went through this massive catastrophe. But if you can get yourself down there, go with the group. It's going to be blast. If you can't manage to go with the group, find the people in the Clint Dempsey gear. They're going to also be rooting for the Sounders because about 500 people are going to come up from Nacogdoches. There'll be about 1,000 Sounders fans there.
From the knack?
Max, we don't
Go.
talk about soccer on
As
the
of today, I will be going.
Are you going?
Yeah,
Adam's
so
going?
So I am.
yeah.
I'm just
go
gonna
away
say,
travel. That doesn't mean
This is-
I'm just gonna say, shout out to Travel Monkeys. Seriously,
Yes, seriously.
Search away travel.
Yay, Travel
because
Monkeys.
this was a little out of control. And for perspective for people, the away travel at Portland was going to be more than MLS Cup from last year.
Are you serious?
Yes, that was their. That was the price
Slide it
with
over
our like covering our credit card fee. Yeah, it was a
Wow.
little bit out of control.
Discount that I literally fought for
Eileen,
Yeah.
different bus companies.
off screen is talking about the discounts she has to arrange with bus companies. The good news is she doesn't. When it's outside of Cascadia, she doesn't have to worry about bus traffic.
There
or
is
anything
no
like that.
Houston bus, so if anyone
Oh,
tells
wait,
you
how
that
do I
there
get to the
is,
from
Hold
the
on.
airport. I
If
thought
you
I was
want,
taking the
you can
ECS bus
hire
from the
Aaron
airport.
Riley at Ride with Sonar. He
I
will drive
think
you
it's
to
like
Houston at Uber prices.
$1,400
At Uber prices.
each way. I think
Uh,
plus nap time.
if you want some guidance
Hey.
to find a way alternate routes because flying into Houston itself might be expensive, look to
Austin
Austin and San
Dallas.
Antonio
And San Antonio
and
But
Dallas and maybe even New Orleans. And
people are driving from 3 or 4 different places. So Austin right now is the play because you can red eye out.
And
on Alaska,
there are
right?
directs.
Yeah.
There are directs Seattle to Dallas, Seattle, Austin, Seattle, Houston, Seattle,
Yeah.
New Orleans. There are not directs to San Antonio, but you might be able to find some weird.
I think there's an
funky
Alaska.
stuff on like Spirit or Frontier
Yeah.
because they hit those places through Denver, and you can be like Adam and spend 11 hours in an airport.
I am not doing that this time.
You
I am flying
could do
directly
that.
from Las Vegas to Houston, then from Houston to Seattle.
Tips: if it's Columbus, look into Toledo, Detroit, Cincinnati, Louisville.
The rumor is
Indianapolis.
The rumor is go Detroit
Cleveland,
no matter what.
Cincinnati.
Detroit is the easy way to go to both.
Yes.
But the one I found today is red eye Friday night to Boston is $119 on Alaska. And then for less than $100 you can fly to Toronto from Boston. And it's a lot of miles. And then the next day out of Detroit is $139. So all in, you can fly for $3 and change.
Toledo has a legit airport that does some puddle jumper stuff
Yeah, but
out
then
of
you're
like
in Ohio for longer, and no one should do that.
Yeah, but
except
you-
Dave
you're-
Cresco.
I'm talking about how to get to Columbus,
Oh, okay, got it.
and the Toledo stuff you can go to through Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Right. Minneapolis is usually actually a really good option for this. I think
Yeah.
it was more expensive this time, so Detroit was still a better option. So if you're looking to do that, and you can afford only so much, find people. There are already people booking those trips, so knock on wood. When Sounders get
People
to
are
this
already
point,
booking their Columbus and Toronto trips because no, we wouldn't look past Houston.
yeah, people are at a minimum
As I
ready to like within the usually it's the 24 hours.
Who doesn't want to
before
spend
the
a weekend
game
in
thing,
Detroit?
Or you wait till halftime of the night before. You estimate, book your ticket because you have 24 hours to cancel your tickets. That's typically what people will
I
do.
definitely did that last year.
Yeah.
As I was telling the first
It's a
podcast
jinx,
I did today,
so don't tell anyone you did it.
I'm not a player, so I can look past Detroit. The players can't look past Detroit. The coaches can't look past Detroit. But
What about
Houston.
putting up a
Houston.
TIFO display about looking past the team you're playing?
You can look one game ahead. You can't look 3 games ahead.
Oh, okay.
When you're not even playing.
That's because we're the map makers.
We are the map makers.
How many?
We are
How
the
many
fucking
of you
Leviathan
guys are
tree.
Yeah, which of those
cartographers?
If we don't
So-
have a map maker tifo next year,
It's okay though, because Donald Trump says
the
Pocahontas
Sounders
every other
had
day, so
a
it's
map
fine.
maker trio tifo playing against the Vancouver Whitecaps like
It wasn't a-
5 years ago.
it wasn't a map.
mean the large
maker.
map?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
sound of soccer.
Yeah.
That was a lot better than saying we are the cartographers. Just draw the damn map.
I mean, have you been to Portland? Because I have. Who's that smug? So we have Max.
This
Hi,
is my
Max.
Stepped
channel.
up.
Hi, Max.
That's
And-
not Hugo.
I pay him
We're
to take
gonna-
pictures. I don't pay him enough.
We were going to give Max a minute to share some cool stuff.
It's the Max Minute, Max Minute.
I know it's not pro soccer, but it's actually really cool. In Division II women's soccer, the defending national champions, Western Washington University, qualified for the postseason tournament. They'll be hosting on Saturday, and Concordia University, for the first time ever, qualified for the NCAA tournament as well. Very good match they had on Saturday, and that was enough to convince them to get an at-large bid. So, way to go Concordia, and way to go Western.
That's D2 women's college soccer. If you missed out,
Which I follow.
and he takes pictures of. Follow him at
Max Kino Photo on Twitter.
The
or
corporate
on
overlord you can
Facebook.
trust.
On Facebook, I don't have much of a following right now. I've neglected my page.
Yes, you have.
So follow Sounder at Heart, and sometimes we post this stuff, but that's all about the Sounders and maybe the Stars this year a little bit. We're going to have them in a couple Stars games. Remind me to email Darren again.
Can do.
And he's done rain games for us, S2 games. I think we even have some academy shots in there that we've,
Yeah, I did a couple academy games as well.
and a lot of training. So yeah, that's Max. We
So
like
be-
it.
before we
He
head
also
out-
runs Pub League.
Yes, I do.
He does do that.
But let's not talk about that this season.
Sometimes.
There's no
So-
fall Pub League.
So
That's the
before
quick
we
version.
before we close out for the night, we have no games. We have no games for the next 2 weeks. Mark, do you have any predictions?
For the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, just any sort of prediction of anything.
There's a game.
You could talk politics here.
More indictments.
More indictments. Mueller Monday.
Just another Mueller
indictments. Dave, what do you got?
Monday. The U.S. is going to beat Portugal
That's a good call.
because it's going to be a trash Portugal team,
Oh,
and it's going
I
to be a bunch
I
of
do have
U23
prediction.
kids that want to
Josie
prove
will not
themselves.
see the rest of the playoffs.
That's actually a really good prediction. And by good, I mean that's probably never going to happen because
Also,
In a
I
very good
predict
evening.
we see Aaron Kovar on film at some point within the next 2 weeks.
Doing.
is he going to be just sitting there with like a nonplussed face next to Christian Roldan?
It's like the hunt for Sasquatch at this point.
That's all right.
I
That's a
don't
good
make you
prediction.
sad.
Adam, you have a prediction?
Brian Schmetzer should make you sad.
Prediction is that Dave's dog will finally poop.
Upcoming guests, we have some stuff that we're working on. I've got. There's a quest from Jesse.
We actually genuinely have guest options.
Jesse
It's
was
crazy.
asking about guests, and I'm working on 2 within the Seattle Sounders organization at this time, which pretty much means, well, next week, because the week after that, they'll be in Houston.
They're probably not going to come on the night before.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Well, we've got Adam sometimes, so we might have the technical ability to put them on remotely, but
Yeah.
let's not try to do that.
No.
I have another prediction.
Go for it.
I will become a beautiful butterfly.
I am a beautiful butterfly.
I'm not even going to make a prediction at this point. I'm just done.
By the way, the
Ugo?
music is quieter tonight than it was when we had Roy Lassiter on.
Okay.
Trying to listen to the music,
Predicción.
Dave.
Vamos a ganar en Houston por primera vez.
Sí.
Dempsey va a meter un gol
Sí.
y Roldán va a meter un gol. Un gol.
Un gol.
No, un gol. Va a meter un gol en Houston y Roldán también va a meter un gol. Los Sounders van a ganar 2-1, no 2-0, en Houston.
I've just decided the side project for SonarFeed should be me translating Ugo
Badly.
Oh yeah.
Bad Dave translation.
Bad Dave translations. Yeah.
Me gusta esta idea.
.com.
I think.
That would get so many more
To be
live
clear,
viewers.
Dave's peak Spanish occurs on like day 6 of his trip to tours in Mexico. That's peak Spanish. And so
Wow.
it's basically just beer and food.
So
And it takes several days.
my prediction.
San Jose del Cabo.
My prediction is next week.
We have an episode.
The show here will have more funny winter weather clothing.
Are we going to talk about soccer?
What?
We're gonna be.
Are we going to
we're-
talk about soccer?
We're eventually going to be dressed. Maybe.
We will
Since
talk about
next
soccer
week
next
might
week.
have
Yes, Danny. We're going to talk
next
about
week's
soccer
our
next
best
week.
chance to have a Sounders guest.
Odds are we'll talk about soccer next
Yeah.
week.
Okay.
Yep. We're going to eventually though be dressed like we were. In
Anyway.
So
Toronto.
should I bring my Sounders colored sleeping bag?
Just bring anything.
Could you bring one for each of us?
Off camera.
Mark has
A
been told
strong recommendation
strong recommendations to
to
say
not
specific
recommend
things.
Mark bring anything.
Anyway, thanks everybody for bearing
I don't
with
know
us
what you're talking
tonight
about, Dave.
as we like wean our way back onto doing SonarFeed.
Oh, Ween, that's
After
a great
few weeks off.
2 weeks in a
It
row.
feels like ever, actually. And shout out to
But
the
we're
Berliner.
back.
And to
So
those of
stay
you
tuned.
that show up here, even when we're not here,
the Berliner pub.
because that's super cool.
Where?
Just off of 3rd and Main.
Yeah.
Downtown Renton.
Ahead of the curve. Ahead
What?
of the curve.
Oh
The
yeah.
greatest German pub in all of South King County.
.com.
No question.
Get your votes in for the lads and the ladies.
Or don't vote because only pay attention to soccer, guys.
You are going to get
Bye.
the shit beaten out of you.
Bye.
Can you run that Dave thing again?
Yeah.